Scorpio. Welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot and welcome to your cards for March. I love this energy. I love this Pisces season. I don't know particularly why, because I think there's a part of us where we all kind of want to get out and break free, right? That's a Saturn square Uranus feeling, like we're itching for freedom. We're itching for travel, maybe more of a social scene to just get out of this COVID kind of mentality that we've kind of learned. And yet, even though we haven't been real outwardly active, maybe, it feels as though we've been through the ringer in a lot of ways. Like maybe you've been going through a lot of changes with all of this planetary energy, major adjustments. You've had some really big transits go through your 4th house and in your 5th house. So there might be changes with children, changes with your residence. There's an emphasis on family. And there's an emphasis on your heart in March, and things start to really soften. And I'm telling every sign that it's very important to really tap into that Neptunian energy. Neptune plays such a major role in March. And there is a very beautiful energy that comes with Neptune in the surrender, in the release. There's almost an element of sacrifice. And as well, we're coming off of this full moon in Virgo, which is in your 11th house. And that's probably where we all find the thing that we are sacrificing. Now, the truth is, we're taking steps towards the new life. We're doing the new things. This Pisces energy can make us second guess ourselves. It could cause us to feel like we're in a big illusion. We're not sure what we can trust. It doesn't feel very stable. And so we're kind of forced to tap into our intuition. So lucky for you, Scorpio, that your 8th house, Gemini, is hosting the North Node in Mars. And you could really tap into your trust. If you allow yourself this month, you could really feel your way through some stuff. There could be some really deep psychological healing. There could also be tension if Mars is pushing you towards something that isn't meant to be. Now, I really do feel like you are protected. I feel like now is a time where you can take a rest. There's, the decisions have been made, the actions have been taken, and there's every element here telling me that it is just simply time to let things unfold. Now, your energy this month is the Aries. I am 13, breaking down to a 4. 4 is this house in Aquarius with Saturn and Jupiter. And this is really the equivalent of the new foundation. Maybe you do have a new home. Maybe you are just handling your emotional self differently. There's a strengthening, a solid foundation here. And there's a sense of independence. There's a feeling of going out alone, taking on the big things. With Aries energy, it's about the new beginnings, and it's about the courage to embody them. Now, what I love coming next to this Aries is the 3 of Coins, the overall energy. And this tells me that you are building. You are building these really beautiful, solid foundations. I'm not sure if you are completely aware, Scorpio, in the month. I'm not so sure that you realize exactly what is happening or how easily things are flowing, because that Aries energy could kind of make you feel like you've got to take action. You've got to have control. You've got to know what's happening. It could talk about expectations. It could also talk about fear of not knowing the consequences. And again, I'm taken back to that Neptune energy. Neptune can play some real serious tricks on your mind, especially in the 5th house. You might feel almost as if you don't trust the happiness. Now, the first 3 cards out here, we have a Knight of Coins, a 7 of Wands, and an Empress. First and foremost, I have to tell you, Scorpio, I just finished the Aries reading, and there's definitely a tie. There's very similar cards. There is kind of mismatched energy here. Your energy came out in the Aries reading. Aries energy is certainly coming out in this reading. So if you are kind of going back and forth or involved with a Scorpio, with an Aries, or you have an Aries placement, kind of take a look at that reading. Maybe you would get a different view or maybe some different information from that reading as well. What I'm picking up with this Knight of Coins and the 7 of Wands and the Emperor is, for you, I feel like you're protecting something. Now, the Knight of Coins moves very slow, very deliberate. He's not going to make any promises he won't deliver on. He's a keeper of his word. The 7 of Wands feels very defensive. There could be an energy of, again, with the 7 of Wands, I always get other people's opinions, right? And the 7 is always an area of adjustment. Because we have this full moon in Virgo in your 11th house, which is friends, associates, groups, and, the Virgo energy with the 7 of Wands could almost feel like not being able to share what's really happening, what's really going on. Maybe there's some changes happening within your friends or your social environment. Maybe there's something that you've had to leave behind. Maybe a group of people, some friends. Maybe you're in a relationship with somebody and circumstances have caused you to have to distance yourself from a group of friends. And when I see this Aries energy come out next to that, I almost feel certainly a sense of control. And I wonder if there isn't a part of you, Scorpio, that's a little bit leery about feeling like you are being controlled because of the defensiveness. Yeah. Now, what I see underneath this Knight of Coins is this 5 of Cups. So if you are hesitating any sort of commitment, now I say commitment, guys, it's hard to ignore, but we've got an Ace of Coins right here in the center of the reading. Your most important card. This represents new beginnings, new foundations. Sometimes this is my engagement card. Oftentimes it's my engagement card. It's a solid investment. It's a promise, even if it's not an engagement, there's a coming together or a commitment of some kind. And I feel like you are very confused, and this is what Neptune can do. Very confused over what to do, whether you want to invest fully or not. And what I could tell you is Neptune, okay, your 4th house being lit up and your 8th house being lit up, those are 2 very cadent and emotional houses. And these are areas where we can get a little bit nostalgic. Now, not always in a real positive way, right? Neptune can cause fear. Like I said, there might be some second guessing yourself or not fully understanding or grasping the opportunities. Things can just feel foggy. And when you're unsure of where you are, and if you are in a new home or a new town or you've relocated in some way, this 5 of Cups can make you feel like you miss home. Maybe you miss friends. Maybe you miss the old way of living. Maybe you miss the old place. Maybe you quite literally miss your parents or your family. Five of Cups often emphasizes the feeling of a loss. And I think you are a little bit caught up in the middle of the month as this new moon in Pisces happens. I believe it's around the 13th, which is actually conjunct Neptune. This is a very dreamy, beautiful moon, but it could also make you invest in things that don't have solid, doesn't have solid foundations. And at the end of the day, what Scorpio wants, what Scorpio needs, is that solid foundation. And I think ultimately what happens is you are looking at the decisions that you have made. Two of Coins always represents a decision, and the decision is in the name of balance. And there is an embracing of the new life, the new opportunity, the new home, whatever that is to you, and accepting the loss of the old. Now remember, I said with that full moon in Virgo, there is sacrifices to be made in order to step into the new life. I'm sorry, I had an odd message on my phone. I'm glad it didn't cut it off. So like I said, this Virgo energy, this full moon is the cutting and the severing of, maybe some old dreams, old visions, old hopes and desires that you had. But the thing is, just underneath this Five of Cups and the Knight of Cups is the devil. And I think this is the honest to God truth. Now, you can't put Mars in the 8th house along with the North Node and not expect a psychological breakthrough. Like I said, when you go through an 8th house transit, you get real honest with yourself, Scorpio, and you are always in this self-analyzation mood. This is nothing new to you. You're not surface level on anything. And I think you're making breakthroughs psychologically on what this Five of Cups is really all about. By the end of March, you begin to realize that this Five of Cups is the reason for your hesitation. Now, take time to breathe out. Disseminating moon right next to this Five of Cups. This is an opportunity to release this Five of Cups energy, this regret, this nostalgia, this focus on the things that you have lost, to focus on the things that you have sacrificed. Yes, in a lot of ways, life might feel like it's getting smaller. Maybe it's not so big and exciting. Maybe, if you're moving from one phase of life to another, maybe there's a settling. And of course, there's always going to be a part of us that misses the old things, misses the old way of life. And yet I feel like the breathing out is kind of the expelling of that from you. And any kind of pain that comes with it. The things that you're focusing on, this Knight of Cups, the reason why you are hesitant to fully invest is because you're stuck in the past. You're stuck at looking at the way things worked out in the past. I don't want to invest in this new relationship because my heart has been broken or it doesn't work out for me. I don't want to take this new job because I'll have to start over from scratch and, it makes much less money and there's a loss. There's undoubtedly a loss. Now, the thing about this particular Five of Cups is that I feel as though in this picture, she's kind of trying to put this water back into the cup. And I see this Devil card underneath this Five of Cups, and it's almost trying to go back in some ways to the old stuff. And whatever it is that you're focusing on, whatever it is that you're longing for, wishing would have gone differently, the choice you didn't make. There's no going back. You certainly don't want to hold up your future life, your new life, because you couldn't go back. There's definitely a feeling of a release here, and it's also a time to get really honest. You really have to take a look at the things that are making you resist rebuilding. Whatever it is in your life, if there's addiction issues, mental issues, healing that needs to be done, it is an amazing time to seek help. Okay? When you have this much energy in your 5th house, you have to understand that you are so supported. You are so loved. And when I look at the 7 of Wands and this 8 of Swords, all surrounding this Ace of Coins, it's like taking something so beautiful and so amazing and not seeing it for the worth, for what it's truly worth. 8 of Swords is overthinking. And 7 of Wands is defensiveness. And in all ways, you are not opening up and fully embracing this Ace of Coins. Both of these energies are very self-induced. There might be elements of you, maybe this isn't another person, maybe the element of you where you're trying to control all of the situations. And I promise you that will not work during Pisces season. Trying to dictate how things are going to go. You know, you're going to be forced to relinquish that control. And this 8 of Swords, this overthinking, this overanalyzing, this fear, it's only going to get deeper and deeper. Like once you start to go down this rabbit hole, you could really get stuck here. And if you get stuck here, you're going to miss an opportunity. Now, I think the most profound part of this reading is this Emperor, this 2 of Coins, and then these 2 cards came out together, so I took them together. We have the 3 of Swords in reverse and the 7 of Coins. Now, the 7 of Coins is all about adjustments. Adjustments for our foundations, having to change things. And the 3 of Swords is avoiding heartache. And what happens is sometimes you begin to really imprison yourself with these thoughts. I think this is the overthinking. Always trying to be one step ahead in order to avoid the heartache. Now, whether you're avoiding your heartache or whether you're avoiding somebody else's heartache, it just feels like you're avoiding hurting somebody. And that's a lot to take on. And the 7 of Wands often is an indication that you need to communicate. There might have to be an adjustment in plans or some sort of a change. And it might disappoint people. Now, the 7 of Coins can also involve your career. 7 of Coins might involve your finances. But overall, it feels like this is an energy of fixing the things that need to be fixed before it's too late. And that means really pulling yourself out of this mental activity. Now, when I talk about Pisces season and we talk about the release and the letting go and the dissolving and all of the things that Pisces is, I was not too shocked to get this dance with life. Now it says do something to change your energy. And I got a couple different things from this. First of all, the dance with life is kind of just this way of looking at life like, yeah, we go through changes, we go through growth, we leave things behind and we start new things, and that's kind of the cycle. And to dance with life is to be free and to go with it, to relinquish that control. And because there's the Emperor here and the Two of Coins, you have the choice to relinquish the control and let life flow through you. And I think in a lot of ways, Scorpio, you are being led. There's always like that interchange between the masculine and the feminine in a dance, right? The leader and the follower. That sounds so negative. I'm not sure, but there are times in life where you lead and there are times in life when you follow. And I think now is a period of following and allowing what comes to you with ease. If you're fighting for things, it's probably not the right thing. If you're holding on to things, they're probably not the things that you truly want. If you feel like there's old elements of your life that you are building resentment for having to walk away from, they weren't good for you in the first place. And I definitely feel like the where you're at now in this journey is exactly where you need to be. The Three of Coins is every indication that you are building something solid. Tap into the softer side of Neptune, which is gratitude, sacrifice, but not sacrifice in a bad way. It's not a sacrifice for expectations. Like, I'm going to do this. I think I said it in another reading. Pisces season is the same as Lent. We make sacrifices for the greater good of everyone, right? And we have to feel good about that and not resent it. And when you can tap into that energy and start to see the bigger picture, you could really find faith in what you're doing. But if you let that illusion of Neptune really mess with your mind and look at things negatively, when you're focusing more on the losses instead of what you're gaining, things can get a little bit tricky. Now do something to change your energy. Again, this is all about these changes. Maybe if you are looking to move or if you've already moved, it's yet another indication that it was a step in the right direction. It is another indication that you needed to change your energy, change your element. If you've left a job or if you've left a relationship, it's because your vibration changed. Your priorities changed. Who you are changed. And now you're in the element that you attracted. Now again, Pisces season, for sure, through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. Now, to me, this talks more about that sacrificing. And it's really what you are headed towards, what you are building is so much more meaningful than what you're leaving behind. And you may feel compelled to tap into things spiritually this month. I wouldn't be surprised. Most of us will. We do in Pisces season. Even if you're that person that goes to church once a year on Easter, there's always that moment or that memory or even the nostalgia of going there as a child. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to a church, but there's a part of that you may miss, that connection to something bigger, the believing in something. And this is a good month to really tap into that faith of any kind. Tap into those practices. Allow yourself to meditate, even if it's just, listening to soft music before you fall asleep and letting the stress come off of your day. There's something very useful here. I'm also tying that Aries energy because your Aries is in your 6th house. That is a lot about worship and routine and making things routine. So if you do have a practice, or if meditation has worked for you in the past, make it a daily practice. That's very important. And then our last card out is this Dragonfly Spirit, Truth Transcends Illusion, card number 22. You're in a divine period in your life. You're being guided. Things are opening to you. Look at this dragonfly is kind of being crowned here. And I do feel an element of doing the right thing. Feeling proud of yourself in spite of the things you've given up. Knowing and having the confidence that these changes that you've made are truly what was meant for you next. And truth transcends illusion. If you are feeling throughout the month in that emotional place of being unstable or unsure of where you're at, turn to faith and spirit. Do not act on it. Okay? Give it some time. Let's get through the haze of all this Neptune energy, and April will be a much better time to, deal with things. All right, Scorpio, that was a beautiful reading. I do wish you guys the best luck. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful month of March. I will be back again for your April readings. Take care. Lots of love. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.